What's going on, race fans? Today we're diving into an IMSA practice session at Daytona in the AMG GT3 on iRacing. In this video, I'll show you how I use data from VRS and a little clip from a VRS group coaching session to help me get better at this track because I am struggling with it. And we'll talk about how you can use iRacing's active reset to make your practice sessions even more efficient or to really dial in that corner that you're struggling with. So with that, let's get on with it and let's hit the track. Alright, so before we get on with that, here's a little clip from before the coaching session where one of my fellow students asked our coach a very important question.
Hey, Pash.
So let me start off. Yeah, hello.
So how much time do you spend practicing on track running laps?
Oh,
or is it just you've been doing this for so long? Like how do us guys who you know aren't have I don't know how do we get to be like you?
I think I mean, for the data packs, sometimes it may take you 45 minutes. Sometimes it may take you 2 hours or 2.5 hours. Really depends on the car, the combo, how hard how much it takes to make a good setup or you're happy with. At least for me.
Yeah, but you've spent years perfecting your skill on this, right?
Yeah, I would say I've been improving. Yeah, I think sim racing objectively is something like any sport, right? I was playing padel in the weekend and I'm just terrible. Like there's nothing I'll ever, no matter how much I'll practice, I'll never be remotely good where I can enjoy it. Whereas some people are a bit better, they can use it as a hobby. Some are a bit better, they can play regionally. Some are pros, right? I think everybody's like, they have a baseline level, and then they have a potential. And obviously, your potential is how much you'll push towards it, in my opinion. I feel like somebody that is, let's say they have 2.5 KI rating. I think their limit may be 3.5, 4K, who knows, right? You have to explore that, and I think the only way to explore it is always to just practice, do races, study material and try to get better. Maybe somebody else, just by design, they're a bit faster overall and their ceiling is a bit higher. I think everybody has a ceiling, but how much you get close to it is in sim racing. I think it's probably just down to practice, just practicing and putting the work.
Yep, right on.
I think no matter how much I practice, I'll never be. I think I've been racing in World Championship level races. I've been in podiums on iRacing World Championship races, but I'll admit I'll never contend for a World Championship. I'm still like very close, but I'll never do that. But I think that's the same for every level, right?
I appreciate that. That's a good heads-up assessment. I do appreciate that, Bash, very much.
Now, as I'm still struggling to get the tires up to temperature on an outlap without crashing, many people will say it takes about 10 hours to properly learn a track and be fully efficient at it. Now, Pash has been racing for a very long time. He has competed in World Championship events in iRacing on R Factor 2. So he's actually very well versed in the world of sim racing. So with that, let's see what we can do with this car myself. I kind of feel like I'm trying to learn Daytona for the first time. With this new tire model that came with Season 3, it seems like a whole new track. Not saying I was great at it to begin with, because I did struggle with Turn 1 and the bus stop, but I don't recall having a problem getting through the kink. The exit of Turn 7 was always tricky for me, but I feel like with this current tire model, it has seemed to have gotten worse.
That goes back to before you came on. Like I was saying with Lee and James, it's a matter of practicing, but practicing smart. Practicing with an intent on what you're gonna do.
Yeah, and avoid. I mean, I think it's always more efficient to do more race runs, longer runs, and avoid hot lapping. I think hot lapping is not very efficient when you are really trying to master your craft.
Yeah, and one of the things I've been doing a lot lately too is if I like Daytona Turn 1, I'm struggling with it. So during my lunch hour, I spent probably 20 minutes just hitting the active reset button with it. And just trying to...
But in real life, in real racing, you don't have active reset.
No, you don't, and that's where we have an advantage.
I think using it when you are really struggling, just to understand where to place the car is good, but you don't want to abuse it and use it for everything.
No, not at all.
That's not how you get a lap. In quality, you have 2 laps. You have to do a good run there. That's your time. You don't have resets, right? So yeah, like...
Yeah, but I was losing like 1.5 to 2 seconds in Turn 1 alone. Turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's
now
definitely good if you try to learn the track, right? But you don't want to spam it in order to get your purple. Does it make a difference? Like you know what I mean by saying that? Like, it's different when you go into a new track and you try to learn a section, which is good, right? Because you can do it in multiple times over and over. But if you are already on a good level and you're trying to do your absolute peak on that corner over and over, that's probably a bit where it starts losing its value, in my opinion. But this, for me, as in my mind, as I think of it.
No, I don't mean do it every single session, but if you have like one part of the track that you are truly struggling with, I think it helps, because then it gives you a chance to try, all right, this didn't work. Say breaking at the 200 meter board didn't work, so now you back it up to like between the 200 and 300. Or maybe instead of trying to stay up against the wall before turning in for the corner, maybe, as Johnny says, kind of cheat the corner and point the car into the corner beforehand. I think it just allows you to try different things to see which ultimately works best for your driving style.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
Did you catch my mistake in the bus stop? I'll tell you what the answer was. I was too narrow on entry. I didn't use the full width of entry curb, and that compromised the rest of the chicane.
Your lap time was 48.67. That's your quickest lap in this session.
So enough of me crashing and missing corners. Let's take a quick look at what a group coaching session actually looks like. So here's a clip where actually Pasha's actually going over my buddy James's data, and this is actually for Turn 1.
Yeah, because you have to drop the brakes really hard, and that forced the car wide. So I would suggest obviously braking later. I really like your trace, because that way you keep the front end agile and active. Brian is going to open up very far to the right. You do the same. I think the way you approach the corner is perfect. You just need to transition your braking a lot later, because you just sacrifice so much speed. I mean, you've lost 3/10 until this point, right? So now you lose the remaining just at the apex where you drop the brakes really hard. You are faster by 5 kilometers, so the car doesn't stick. Runs wide. You
You know
have
what?
to
He's
nurse.
staying in third.
Yes, it was my next.
I didn't mean to cut Bosch off there, but he was saying his next observation was he was in the wrong gear. With that, I'm still making the same mistake going into the bus stop as I did previously. Now, one of the things I do too is I will only do about a 10-lap run at a time. What I do after the 10th lap, or sometimes I'll go to 15 laps, depending on how the session's going for me. What I'll do after that is I'll stop it. I'll go back, I'll look at my VRS data, which I'll put on the screen now. So on this session, I did about 14, 15 laps. So this is all my laps in that session at that time. In this first slide, the second slide, this is my overall lap compared to Coach Pascha's data for this week, because he did the data pack for the Mercedes. And this is my turn one comparison, his lap to my lap. And this is also a screenshot from the video analyzer that shows where you're placing the car in a visual format. So after my data, I'll go back and I'll look at the replay and compare those sections of the track to where the car is actually being placed, knowing that I'm placing the car in the wrong place by looking at the video analyzer. And then on my next session, I will go in and I'll try to make those changes. And I'll do that for another 10, 15 lap run. Now on the next 10, 15 lap run, if I don't see any improvement, what I will do is then I will implement going to my worst corners or where I feel I need the most improvement. And that's what will lead us into the next part of this, which is the actual implementation of active reset. If you notice, there's no replay in the corner, and you'll also notice that this is a different car. So for this session, I'm still trying to figure out which car I want to use. So I'm trying to find which car I'm most comfortable with getting around Daytona, specifically on cold tires and also through a race run. So for this run, like I said, I switched over to the BMW M4 GT3. A lot of people say it's super stable, super easy to drive. I usually struggle with it, but I give it a try. So let's get on with the lap, and we'll walk through what goes on during the lap. So active reset usually works best if you're on a pretty decent lap. So if you just binned it, I would not suggest setting the active reset until you're on a lap that's actually pretty good, that you want to continue that run through. You do have to map a button, well, two buttons on your wheel or whatever is easy for you to get to while you're driving. My suggestion is to pretty much always try to set the enable and run buttons within an easy reach. So for me, I use the joystick buttons on my wheel, and I usually only try to do it when the car is going straight. So that way you don't hit the reset while the car's in mid-corner, because you may not have the wheel in the right position. So I suggest always doing it when the vehicle is going straight. And then you also want to you can hit the run whenever you want, but you want to set the location, basically like setting cruise control in a real car. You want to do that while the wheel is straight. Again, it'll just help you not be mid-corner and do a mid-corner reset. So, in all honesty, I probably ran through the bus stop for probably about 15 minutes or so. One thing you'll notice on the bottom left corner, it's no longer a best lap, it's a custom sector time. And that's also going to tell you what your best time through that sector was from the time you activated it to the time you reset. That's how you can judge on if you're improving or not. I personally just don't pay much attention to it until after, if I'm looking at the replay of it, or I think I may have done better with it, and so now I'm going to basically do the same thing going through turns 1 and 2, and you know, find a reset point where I just want to go back to for turn 1 and 2 and just repeat the same process. And just, it's like Groundhog Day. You wake up and it's the same thing every single morning. So I'll do this for another I don't know, I think I spent about a half hour just running these 2 sectors, about 15 minutes each. I'm not going to bore you with all of that. Here's a screenshot of what you need to map in order to use the active reset. Active reset save start point, active reset run. So in the next picture is going to be my actual wheel, and I'm going to point out, and this one here is where I have the reset set point set. I push that in, and on the right side is the run. So when I want to run it over, I'll push the right side joystick button, and that'll bring me back to my set point. I hope that this helps somebody, and yeah, I really do hope it helps somebody. If you didn't know about this or you didn't know how to do it, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear if any of this helped you. I will also again have a link to the VRS website in my description, and yeah, so that's what I do to try to get better when I'm struggling out of track. And again, I do hope this helps somebody. Also, please, if you're into sim racing, I don't care what title you like, join me on Sim Racers United. Link will be down in the description on my Discord channel. And also, please, it would help me out immensely if you would please smash that like button, drop a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And again, please let me know if this helped you in any way. It would mean a lot to me, and I really do hope it helps somebody. With that, watch the next video that's going to be linked at the end, or watch the playlist that's going to be linked at the end. And as always, have a great day, my friends.